COVID-19 pandemic. No discussion on EPLI issues can ignore the enormous impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the workplace. Organizations were forced to close, reduce operations, transition to working remotely, or placing employees in high-risk situations. The potential for EPLI claims is huge and broad, touching on numerous perils such as wrongful dismissal and termination, discrimination, invasion of privacy, and breach of statutory duties in the failure to adopt adequate workplace policies and procedures. Consider the following situations. A company is required to close operations due to COVID-19 and decides to furlough its employees. That is, they're instituting a temporary layoff with the promise of bringing the employees back to work at a later date once the business restarts. Is this legal? Could it be seen as wrongful termination? Second, due to high infection rate in the United States, a company temporarily shuts down its U.S. operations, consolidating everything at their Canadian facility. Now staff in Canada must take on an increased work and performance roles for which they were not necessarily trained. Could this change in job scope and description be viewed as a breach of contract or constructive dismissal? A company that switched a work-from-home model continues to hire new employees to support the company's aggressive growth plans. Much of the onboarding process involves in-person meetings and a comprehensive in-person training program, but none of that is currently happening. Is the company able to maintain its employee practice standards? No one could have predicted the pandemic, so most organizations were ill-prepared to deal with it. Those with a tradition of good employment practices, so those that had policies, procedures, and a dedicated HR resource, for example, will have been in a better position to deal with the unexpected. A top priority for organizations needs to be good risk management. Consulting outside counsel when making any major changes, such as doing a mass layoff. Expect insurers to ask pointed questions about how companies are dealing with COVID-19 and issues like those presented. Insurers will be looking to understand the impact on exposure.